Caregiving can feel overwhelming. Some days feel impossible. If you're caring for someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, we want you to know this. You are not alone. There is help, there are resources, and there is hope. This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers. Greetings and welcome. This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, the not-so-sexy podcast, episode 102. Hi, I'm Jeff Edwards, your host, and I hope everybody is doing great this week. Today's episode starts with a fact that really stayed with me. According to the information from Alzheimer's Association, 99% of people say they value brain health as much as or more than physical health, but only 9% say they know a lot of ways to maintain brain health. That says a lot. It tells us people care. People understand that brain health matters, but it also tells us that many people don't know what steps to take, what information to trust, or where to begin. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about that gap. We'll connect it to information from an article titled, "Most Americans Don't Know How to Protect Brain Health." So, in this episode, we're going to talk about that gap. We'll connect it to information from an article titled, "Most Americans Don't Know How to Protect Brain Health." We'll also hear part one of my interview with Dr. Lauren Brown, PhD, from the Alzheimer's Experience. She teaches a clinically grounded model called ProMa, designed to help caregivers and teams understand what to expect and how to respond with dignity. And that word dignity, D-I-G-N-I-T-Y, it's so important because Alzheimer's doesn't just affect memory. It affects families, relationships, routines, emotions, finances, and the heart of caregiving itself. We'll also revisit the 5 tenets, the rules we follow. You'll hear another What's New with Alzheimer's segment with Dr. John Huffaker and share resources for caregivers. I'd like to again thank all of you who have responded to our gift of song that we shared in episode 100, Gut Punched, I Still Choose You. It has received tremendous reviews, and if you haven't checked it out yet, we'll add the full song at the end of the program. Now, this episode is about awareness, but it's also about action. It's about understanding the facts, supporting caregivers, and remembering the person behind the diagnosis. So let us begin. We are proud to be supported by Neuropsychiatric Research Center, a clinical trial center dedicated to advancing research and treatment for memory loss and Alzheimer's disease, and the fine people at Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, nationally acclaimed, award-winning home care. And live younger today. Activate your stem cells for health and vitality. You can check them out online at liveyoungertoday.com. If you're new here, our 5 tenets or rules are the backbone of what we do, and they're really easy to learn. Number 1, you must take care of yourself, because if something happens to you, who is going to take care of your loved one? Number 2, you can't do this alone. You need help. Find a good caregiver group. Number 3, make a list of people, friends, relatives, or coworkers who have offered to help and then actually use it. Number 4, create a help signal. Identify a cue or phrase to confirm your loved one is comfortable with receiving help from someone else. And number 5, caregiving. Love it or hate it. It will be your life until it's not. So give it your all. Up next, did you know most Americans don't know how to protect brain health?
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
If you find that it's time that you must start looking for a good home care company for your loved one, I'd like you to consider talking with Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, a nationally award-winning company. They are top of the line in service. They will tell you service is their passion, excellence is their promise, and that's the honest truth. They are very knowledgeable and skilled at what they provide. On top of that, they are just really nice people who love helping others in need. They are Alzheimer's and dementia and Parkinson's care specialists. You can find them on the web at hbmhomecare.com, or you can call them at area code 239-603-6455. And you'll find a link for them on our website, gutpunch.com. Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care, your best choice for home care.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
In our last episode, we mentioned something that we found from the Alzheimer's Association, and here's an article that kind of ties in with that. Most Americans don't know how to protect brain health, and it was dated April 23rd, 2026, by Dennis Thompson. Nearly all Americans are worried about their brain health as they age, ranking as important or more so, a new Alzheimer's Association report says. However, they don't know what steps they can take to maintain brain health and ward off dementia, according to the 2026 Alzheimer's Disease Facts and Figures. Quote, Americans care deeply about their brain health and say that midlife is the key time to start taking steps to support it. Heather Snyder, Senior Vice President of Medical and Scientific Relations for the Alzheimer's Association, she said that in a news release. But many don't know where to start and are looking for clear guidance on actions they can take, unquote. An estimated 7.4 million people 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease or dementia, the report says. Between 2000 and 2024, the number of U.S. deaths due to Alzheimer's more than doubled. A survey of more than 3,800 U.S. adults 40 and older found that nearly 9 in 10, that's 88%, considered maintaining brain health as they age very important. Further, 99% said it's at least as important to them as their physical health, results showed. However, only about 9% of those surveyed said they know a lot about how to do so. Previous studies have shown that good nutrition, healthy sleep, regular exercise, and mental stimulation can help maintain brain health. Nearly all surveyed, 99%, consider lifestyle behaviors important for brain health, but fewer than half strongly link those behaviors to a reduced risk of Alzheimer's or dementia, the report said. When asked about specific habits that support brain health, people most often cited protecting against head injury, 82%, not smoking, 72%, managing stress, 71%, treating depression, 71%. Worse, people did not consistently practice the lifestyle habits known to protect brain health. Only half, that's 50%, got at least 7 hours of sleep on most days. Only 2 in 5, 39%, regularly eat a healthy, balanced diet. And likewise, only 2 in 5, 42%, engage in mentally stimulating activities like puzzle solving or learning. Only a third, 34%, get physical activity daily or on most days, and 30% report doing so less a week or never. Nearly 3/4 of adults, 73%, said they'd be interested in participating in brain health programs, including cognitive exercises at 57%, health monitoring, 46%, nutrition, 36%, physical activity, 26%. Cost is the biggest factor driving their decision to participate in such a program at 73%, followed by program location, 67%, personal motivation, 59%, and insurance coverage, 58%. Most respondents also said they'd love to talk to their doctor about brain health. 2/3, 66%, would prefer to learn about brain health from their healthcare provider, and most, 86%, welcome these conversations during routine care. Unfortunately, only 14% have had a conversation about brain health with their doc, and only 11% have discussed ways to reduce dementia risk. Quote, these findings highlight a real opportunity to better integrate brain health into routine health care, Snyder said. People are motivated to protect their brain health, and clear, actionable guidance can help support those efforts, unquote. Nearly 2 in 5 respondents, 38%, said people need to start taking steps to support their brain health during middle age, and nearly half, that's 46%, said participation in a formal brain health program should begin around that time. About 1 in 3 said taking steps to protect brain health is a lifelong endeavor. Quote, the takeaway from this report is clear. Brain health is a lifelong priority, not an issue limited to older age, Snyder said. By connecting efforts across individuals, communities, workplaces, and healthcare, we can build a more equitable framework to support cognitive health and help reduce dementia risk for everyone, unquote. Good facts, good information. Get that brain working. And when we come back, part 1 of our interview with Dr. Lauren Brown.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Your memories are precious. The people you love, the moments you cherish, the life you've lived. At Neuropsychiatric Research Center, we believe your brain deserves the very best care. If you're 50 or older, we invite you to a free memory screening event designed to give you clarity, hope, and valuable insight into your cognitive health. This test has the potential to identify Alzheimer's-related changes earlier than ever and giving people more time, more understanding, and more ways to prepare. By taking just a few minutes for a confidential memory check, it can help you establish a baseline, give you a peace of mind, and connect you to research that may change lives, including your own. Neuropsychiatric Research Center, 14271 Metropolis Avenue, Fort Myers. Take the first step towards protecting your brain for yourself and the people who love you. Visit nprc-southwestflorida.com or call 239-939-7777 to schedule your free memory screening today. The p-tau 217 blood test is available only to participants who meet eligibility criteria.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Alzheimer's doesn't knock politely. It hits like a gut punch. One day, you're having a normal conversation. The next, something feels off. A name forgotten, a story repeated, and then, slowly or suddenly, the person you love begins to change. This podcast exists for that moment and everything that comes after. Today, we're joined by Dr. Lauren Brown, a leading voice in Alzheimer's advocacy, who is working to change how we understand and care for those living with this disease. Through her work, she challenges us to move beyond just managing symptoms and instead to lead with empathy, dignity, and real understanding. Dr. Brown, I'm really glad you're here. How are you doing?
I'm great, and thank you for having me, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Really excited to talk to you about what you've been doing. Now, let me ask you a question. What was your gut punch moment with Alzheimer's?
Well, I was a chaplain at a care facility, and I quickly realized that it wasn't those who were living with Alzheimer's that I was serving, but more so their families. But then I was shocked at how this caregiving population is so different from others. They experience things that no one else does, and yet they're an underserved and overlooked population. And frankly, I was appalled by all that they do for their loved one to maintain their dignity of life. Right? And then hear about how doctor's appointments, the doctors would just blow them off because they thought that perhaps they were fabricating or trying to get something out of it. And the doctors believing the one who's living with Alzheimer's. And so that was really a huge eye-opener for me. And I just set out to focus on making the life of caregivers more aware to others.
How did that experience change the way you teach or train others?
So by day, I am a special education teacher, so I work with kids a lot. I've done youth ministry. So, the upcoming generation is the one you have to change because the existing ones are kind of hard to do so. So I tell kids, hey, there will be a time you'll be at a store, you'll be at a restaurant, and you will see an adult having a problem with an older adult. Now, have you ever had siblings or your parents embarrass you? Oh, yeah. Well, now imagine it's your parents and they're not doing it intentionally. You can't get them to stop. And so on. Have you ever been embarrassed when your siblings and family try to embarrass you? Yes. Imagine being this adult. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to walk up to that adult and say, you're doing a fantastic job. You'll probably make them cry, but that's okay. They need to hear it. And then you go to the person who at this point, you just know they're having some strange behavior, or look at this thing, something that makes them have to look at something, and it breaks that distraction and elevation that they have going. Okay. And so it immediately just breaks that thought process. And now it's a different person. And now you're just having a conversation. And guess what? You've just changed the world for two people and probably the staff in the store as well. And that's all you have to do. Be friendly.
Sometimes it's harder than we think, but you talk about fear to empowerment. And where does the shift from fear to empowerment begin? How does that work?
Well, it's a very odd dynamic to have someone with mental health issues that you are caring for because of that mental health stigma. And for some reason, it appears as though that stigma gets transferred to us as well. Now, my mother did not have Alzheimer's, but she was a victim of mental illness. And so I had all of that. And it takes a point that the caregivers, frankly, have to get pissed off and need to stand up and say, these are just obstacles. And I need to stand up for my person because nobody else is going to. And caregivers, you are stronger than you believe you are. And you need to start believing that.
Yeah, it's like there's a voice that we have, but we don't use it.
It does. And I find it interesting that mental health has such a stigma that mental health meds are often an issue, right? Mm-hmm. Because we don't believe that, the head is connected to the body. And so that was something that I lived with my mother. However, we need to recognize that if we don't stand up for them, no one else is.
Yeah.
And when we tell others about it, guess what? They can come alongside us instead of going, oh, look at Myrtle. She's just really having a day. What a mood she's in. She needs some coffee. As opposed to, wow, she's having a hard day today. Hi, Myrtle. How are you today? I had somebody in my dissertation study who lives in a small town, and they told everybody in that small town. Because you know what? When she went into the bank to try to make withdrawals for thousands and thousands of dollars, they would give her a fake check and say, here you go. When somebody would see her wandering a little further from home. Hey, where are you going? You want me to give you a ride home? Because small town, everybody knows everybody. Mm-hmm. And so by allowing others that information, they have the power to help that person too. So we need to get over that stigma and move on.
What I hear you doing is to interject, but also then help diffuse the circumstances and the situation, which makes a lot of sense.
Most people want to be helpful.
Yeah.
But if you don't give them the information, they can't help. Like the bank was interesting. Now, of course, the woman was the POA, financial power of attorney, healthcare proxy, all of that. So it wasn't that she was doing something that she shouldn't be. But when the bank was able to play along, that whole therapeutic line we'll talk about in a bit, guess what? Mom was fine. The finances were fine. And everybody went about their day feeling as though it was a good day.
And that's a good thing, because then everybody wins.
It is a good thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever seen a moment where a caregiver finally turns the corner and go, I didn't realize that, and then make the change?
So one of my favorite things to spread awareness is we do Alzheimer's simulations. And one day we had a young girl, 20-something, and she knew everything, because she's in her 20s. And she was so frustrated with her father and so angry at him. And, hey, come on over here. Let's do this. So the first thing I have people do is write their alphabet. Okay, well, how hard was that? Oh, not much. Did you have to sing it? Because we don't usually write our alphabet every day. Most of them use the mnemonic device of singing it. Said, okay, well, this is like when a person first discovers something is wrong with them. And probably 100% of those people aren't telling a soul because there's a stigma. We don't want to tell anybody.
All right.
So then in the simulation, it's now switch hands. So you switch hands and have to do the same thing and pay attention to how your brain feels. And anyone listening, you can do this later. And so, okay, you have to write it again. Well, now you have to think about what to write and how to write it. Okay, this is the stage that people go, how come grandma doesn't know how to use the potato peeler? Okay, the next stage is we tape your knuckles together. Actually, we even have gardening gloves to take away that sensitivity feeling of your fingertips.
Right.
And you tape your knuckles together of that non-dominant hand. Have to do it again. So now this is your new normal that you had just adjusted to before. And your body's not doing what you want it to do. Okay, so you have to, how do I write it? What do I write? How do I get my body to do what I need it to do now? So the next one is goggles. And friends, if you ever want to do it yourself, get a little bit of silver paint and some Elmer's glue and just paint it inside of goggles. You can see light and distorted images. So they use the goggles, make them look around. So that really affects the spatial awareness, and they become slightly aware of that. I have had my students, I would never do this to an adult because they could get hurt, but I've had my students have to walk from one side of the room to the other with those goggles. And it was very clear how people with Alzheimer's are a fall risk, and likely because of vision. But then that when they were trying to write on that paper, they could not see the lines, nor could they see what they had written. They just would write off the paper. They would, write on other things. It really is eye-opening, I guess no pun intended there, to realize that vision is affecting some of these other things. So that the 20-something was kind of like, oh, okay. She didn't really get it too much. But then one of my favorite torture devices, simulated experiences. Okay, now you have these goggles. You have both your hands are gloved and knuckles are taped. Now find the Smarties in this bowl of rotini and pebbles. And you have to not only find it, open it, twist them open, and pick them up and put them to your mouth. After that one, she sobbed. She's like, I cannot imagine living this. I said, yeah, this is going to end in 5 minutes. This is their life, and it only gets worse. And it really was the best experience. That happened probably 4 years ago. And we still talk about that because it was so night and day. That, no, he's not doing this to make you angry. If he's giving you a hard time, he's having a hard time. And so that's why we do the forms of experiential training that we do, because just telling somebody, they're never going to get it.
So why do care models avoid the raw human side of Alzheimer's? And is that avoidance coming more from training, culture, or discomfort? All the above?
I would say all of the above. So keep in mind, Dr. Alois Alzheimer was discovered in 1906, 120 years ago.
Wow.
Basically, it took COVID, because there's a whole bunch of scientists with nothing else to do, I guess, to finally start looking at how do we prevent this? How do we slow it down? What can we do? And I think it's a combination of the mental health stigma, ageism, and within the care system, there is a term called duty to die. Why are we going to waste our resources? But then also Hollywood does a terrible job of portraying those people living with Alzheimer's. Oh, they're just drooling and slobbering. And so it kind of forms the opinion that, just lock them away, they'll be fine. That way, nobody has to deal with the raw, except for the person who's living with it. It's been written off to lie in bed forever till they die.
The duty to die thing, I've heard that. I've never put it together with what we're talking about.
Right. And it took 120 years to say, hey, maybe we should examine this.
How do you safely bring people into that emotional space in your trainings?
Well, I am highly empathetic, and I try to get people who are in my trainings to feel that as well. I love to see them get frustrated with the, hey, you're only doing this for 5 minutes. Hey, this is what's going on. This is where we need to kind of have the rubber meet the road, and we need to step up instead of step back. And that's one of my struggles is why do we think that we can just say, that's just how they are? But no, they're still alive. They can still understand that you are there. When I've worked in a care facility, I've had the privilege of feeding someone, assisting them with meals, that I have had their family go, I am so sorry you have to feed my father. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's such a privilege for me. And so to try to help spin that, right? Because, okay, if all I teach you is this is where they're at, this is what's happening, guess what? You're not going to remember a thing I said. But when I incorporate stories, when I incorporate hands-on kinesthetic learning, guess what? People remember that. I see people I've done training a couple of years ago, and they'll say, I still remember that one part. They had to open an envelope with the mask and the 2 gloves and pay the bill. That's all they had to do. One of the staff people was screaming, this is a blank piece of paper. Absolutely not. But you know what? I see her 4 or 5 years later, and she says, do you remember that? Oh, I sure do. So that's how I get people to go from, oh, here is what it is, to, oh my gosh, how can I help? Knowledge doesn't help us if we don't have a heart for them and have that empathy.
They then experience what the other person's going through, and that's something that touches them, not just mentally, but emotionally.
Correct.
Maybe that's what's missing, is the emotional feeling for that other person.
Right, because we tend to just compartmentalize that. Oh, they're just who they are. It's just what I do. It's just, no, this is still a person, and they're super frustrated, and you're not making it better for them.
So what are the real life consequences of vague labels like mild? We hear about mild cognitive impairment.
Is there mild cancer? Is there? No. Is there mild heart issues? No. Mild blood pressure? No. Right? Jeff, here's a question. What is the difference between a stomach bug, winter, and Alzheimer's? They're all diagnosed or termed the same way: mild, moderate, and severe. Our healthcare system currently labels a lot of early Alzheimer's symptoms as being normal aging. There is normal aging forgetfulness that is not Alzheimer's. It fails. It prevents us from knowing what is going on now, what is to come, what do we need to prepare, how long is this going to last, what should we look for. And so our current language does a huge disservice to those who are living with this, as well as their family. Families are living day to day, not knowing when the next crisis is going to erupt, because they don't know what's in this stage that they're in.
I wonder, too, if it's the medical profession using the word mild, because we really don't know, but we just think this is the direction it's going to go. Okay, and then take this, and then come back when it gets bad.
Exactly.
Also, it's unfair to the patient. You talked about the family. They go, well, okay, I don't have to worry about it. But you do. You have to know that it's going to get that way. And if you don't make the plans and make the changes, it'll be upon you in a minute. And then you go, what do I do now? I see it all the time.
And that's the biggest issue, that there are people who have this crisis placement into a care facility because they didn't know how bad it was going to get.
Thank you, Dr. Brown, for the work you're doing and for helping all of us better understand how to show up with more empathy and compassion.
You're very welcome.
Dr. Brown's website is thealzheimersexperience.com. This is the end of part 1 of our interview with Dr. Lauren Brown. We will air part 2 in a future episode. We're coming back with What's New in Alzheimer's with Dr. John Huffaker.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Every day, I talk with people who say, I don't feel as sharp as I used to. My energy is low. My memory worries me. Hi, I'm Peggy Sealfon, board-certified health coach and caregiver. I share patented science-backed technology supporting your body's natural repair, helping improve sleep, cognition, and vitality. Learn more at liveyoungertoday.com. liveyoungertoday.com.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers. What's New in Alzheimer's with John Huffaker.
This is from Pam J. in Hollywood, California. And she says, one of my siblings has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and she is very agitated lately. What can I do to help? Are there medications for this?
Yeah, Pam, and agitation is something that can happen in the later stages of Alzheimer's for patients. Now, not every patient develops agitation as the disease progresses, but a lot of people do. So that's a common question. And you have to think about it. Usually what's causing that agitation is there's something that typically is triggering that. It might be pain. It could be fear. It can be their confusion, frustration. Something like that is typically causing that agitation. So you try to manage that, and you want to create a calming environment if you can to help them kind of regulate or refocus off of whatever that is triggering it. Some things people like use music therapy often, any type of behavioral redirection. There's something they like to do that they enjoy. You can kind of distract that agitated behavior with it. Those are all things you can work on of, like I said, just try to make a more calming environment. As far as medications, there really is actually, now there is a medicine. It's probably been around for about 2 years years, I think, but it is specifically for Alzheimer's patients with agitation. That's called Rexulti. Now, in the research world, we're actually studying several other medications. So hopefully in the relative near future, there'll be some better options to help with that. But that's a difficult time to manage these patients when they get that extreme agitation, and it's not easy to calm them down. So hopefully there'll be even some more other options to have in the near future.
Our resources are very important. If you're not sure where to turn or how to connect, we'll be here to help bring you trusted resources. Reach out to the Dubin Center at thedubincenter.com. And then there is Neuropsychiatric Research Center. Find them at nprc-swfl.com. And Heart, Body, and Mind Home Care at hbmhomecare.com. You can check out the Alzheimer's Support Network at alzsupport.org. And to find your local chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, you can visit their website or call their toll-free hotline at 1-800-272-3900. They also offer an outstanding resource called Dementia Care Navigation, powered by Ripple and the Alzheimer's Association. Now, it provides free personalized dementia care, including a dedicated care navigator and tailored resources for caregivers and people living with dementia. You can get connected by calling 855-271-2662. That's 855-271-2662. We also mention the guide program frequently. It's another excellent resource that provides help and respite care, and it's free. You can search for it online or visit Dr. Perry's HealthSpan partners at healthspansouthwestflorida.com. Another resource worth checking out is Aquilane Clinical Research at aquilaneresearch.com. And here's one, Alzheimer's Support Network at https://support.network. Our website is gutpunch.com, and the email address is gutpunchedac@outlook.com or jeff@gutpunch.com. And thank you to each and every one of you who has taken time out of your busy, stressful day as a caregiver to give this a listen. We truly appreciate it. You're helping to grow our podcast and its impact for caregivers. Thanks for joining us, and if today gave you even a little hope, hold on to it. God bless.
This has been Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, with your host, Jeff Edwards. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to us on all the platforms, like Spotify, Apple, Pandora, Podbean, and more. If you have a question or want to get in touch with us, our email is gutpunchedac@outlook.com or jeff@gutpunched.com. Caregivers, you don't have to do this alone.
I've been gut punched by the weight of that call. I've been gut punched when you don't know me at all. I've been gut punched as your memories fade away. Yeah, I've been gut punched. I wish there was another. That hollow feeling deep inside when the doctor says the truth, no cure waiting on the other side, just time we're gonna lose. But I won't run from what's ahead, I won't let you fall apart. Even when your mind lets go, you'll still have my heart. Slipping day by day, you're losing pieces of your world, and I'm begging them to stay. If the day comes you don't gave me love that built this life, and a daughter to carry your light. I can feel you still inside, even lost in this fight. And when the world you knew is gone and nothing feels the same, I'll be your memory, your voice, calling out your name. I've been gut punched, but love don't fade away. I've been gut punched, still I'm choosing you each day. Through the silence, through the pain, through the fear we can't outrun. You may forget the life we built, but I'll remember enough for two. No, I won't forget, not a single one. I still choose you.